everyone, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Stacy Casson here. For those of you who can't see me, I'm a very tan woman. I have short, wavy salt and pepper hair. I have a white flower in my hair. I'm wearing glasses, a black sheath dress, and there is a red background behind me and my cute little logo up in the corner. Welcome to day 23 of Ask Me Almost Anything. 23 days and going strong. There are 6 days left of this, so get your questions while you can. After that, you need to book a call with me because I do this for a living. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started and take a deep breath in. And exhale. And a deep breath in. And exhale. And a deep breath in. And exhale. And just take a moment to sit with yourself. Notice how you're feeling. Again, I don't know what time of the day it is for you. For me, it's the end of a long work week. Maybe you're just starting your day. But take a moment to husa and be present. Okay, awesome. So we're going to start by picking a card for the call. And we get matchup. Oh, yeah. So matchup is I guess it looks like a turtle without a shell. And he is holding a rock above his head. And there's a beautiful blue horizon line. So it looks like he's up on top of a mountain. And this looks very accomplished, very on top, literally on top of the world, holding on to the rock, kind of like Atlas. And its whole body is composed of muscles. Even though it's the size of a human child, it can hurl 1,000 grown-ups. So hope you're feeling on top of the world. And though you might be small, what are the muscles that you can flex? What are your strengths that you can celebrate and rejoice? What makes you feel like you are on top of the world? In the Greek myth of Atlas, Atlas has to carry the whole world, but Matchup is doing this easily. So I hope it encourages you today that you can conquer the world. All right, it's a fighting type Pokemon, so I'm seeing some strength there, and I'll wait and see if we have any questions and take some water. Cool. All right, so today I want to explore a little bit about problem solving, because if we don't correctly define the problem, it's really hard to solve it and sows confusion. I don't particularly have a problem right now, but if you're like, I don't need to start on my problem, we can use our friends, the Pokemon, and kind of see what is the problem we're trying to solve. So to start off with, we have the Psychic Energy Pokemon card. It's a purple card with a glowing purple sphere and an eyeball. And again, it's a black eyeball. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. So when we're thinking about this, what is the problem that we're trying to solve? This is, for me, around intuition. You might take it literally, like my eye's hurting, right? There are so many ways that you can interpret visual cues. Purple for me is often involved in thinking outside of yourself, bigger than yourself, not just the mundane things, but kind of like the self you would be if there was that whole magic wand to do what you want, like your higher calling, what you'd like to put out into the community. So what is the problem you're trying to solve? And it's sometimes something bigger than yourself, or it could be trusting yourself if we're dealing with things about intuition. So, what is the problem you're trying to solve? That's a way to narrow it down a little bit. Again, if you want to take it seriously, could the man in the mirror or the person in the mirror, because there's a literal eyeball staring at you with this card. So when we're trying to figure out what's the problem we're trying to solve, then you can think about what's happening. And so we have the grass energy poke, a lot of energy cards tonight. So we have the grass so far anyway. We have the grass energy Pokemon card. It's a green card. It has a glowing green sphere and a black leaf. And so perhaps this is something about not being aligned. When I think of green and nature, I think of things that are in balance. And so what is happening might be there's an area that's out of kilter, that is, we've been talking a lot about ecosystems this week, and maybe there is something that is wrong, something in Denmark, uh, so to speak, with this ecosystem. And green for me also represents the heart. When you tie that with your intuition, that could mean a lot of things. Maybe there's an issue with a relationship because we're heart and gut instincts about something. That could be a challenge. And we're going to keep Matchup on this as well. So if I were Matchup, I would ask you, what is making you feel not on top of the world in areas of your intuition? What is making you feel not on top of the world in areas of the heart or compassion, or in your environment, in your literal environment? What is making you feel not on top of the world? There's also a lot happening globally. I just learned about a colleague that is being impacted by volcanoes, and we also see the impact to the climate of our extractive policies. And yesterday we discussed how these strange and aberrant relationships we have forced plants, our food sources, to develop with the earth through artificial means like fertilizers, and taking away the old and more usual symbiotic relationships with fungi or fungi. It depends on if you're British or American how that's being pronounced. That is throwing things off kilter. So there's a lot of different avenues to explore. And again, something may come up different for you when we're thinking about what is the problem that we're trying to solve. I'm trying to, I am trying to work on my garden. I've been trying to grow some blueberries. So I saw some little video on Instagram. I'm like, what's going to hurt a blueberry? So the first blueberry didn't work. So I got some organic blueberries. So allegedly, these would not technically be chemically modified or genetically modified to not grow anything. So fingers crossed that I will get some blueberries. But I will say my azaleas are hanging in there and actually looking pretty good. I put in a rain barrel and I haven't had to use a hose to water them. And that's been actually really fun. So it could be, thinking of ways to disinvest a little bit from the rat race. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but to reinvest in getting in touch with the earth, with the plants, with our food sources. Where do they come from? My friends was talking about, but if there had local butcher shops, like they live out in rural places, so it's easier. I had another friend that actually went to a butcher. Who's gone to a butcher or had to get your own food or kill your own chicken and then pluck all the feathers and all that? And I was thinking to myself, wow, if I don't have the, I don't know, the guts or whatever to kill my own chicken, maybe I don't deserve it. But we don't have to go that extreme. It could be as simple as, if you are eating meat or thing that is from the earth, then maybe just take a moment to be grateful that you have it. Be thankful because it is a life that was given up for us to enjoy. I don't know if it was given up or taken. That's a whole other dilemma. But I mean, people eat, animals eat, plants have relationships with other creatures. I mean, there's plants that eat flies, right? The pitcher plants or the Venus flytrap. So there's no shame in eating, but maybe for a moment to acknowledge those things that come into our life, whether it be food or water or other people, or our environment, and just be grateful, be appreciative, be present in the environment. So that could be something that's happening. Maybe we're going on autopilot and we have lost our connection with the land and with other people in our environment. That's only potential. Again, you might have a completely different point of view as far as that goes. So then, what is the problem we're trying to solve? What's happening? Is this a problem? Why is being out of sync, if we go with that one? Why is that a problem? And wow, we get two Pokemon. Oh wow, we get a powered up Lucario. This is a really shiny card, so it's kind of hard to see. Lucario look it looks like a cat to me, but it's got really long ears. This is like a blue power fisted cat fox looking. He's like, he kicks butt. He looks very confident, full of swagger, take no prisoners kind of thing. And I mean, his thing is the cantankerous beatdown. And I pulled that card with an energy card. So why is this a problem? I mean, being super defensive and keeping people away sometimes is a reason why you become separated from that environment and connections. I mean, maybe Lucario just needs a hug. Yeah, looking at him, it looks kind of like a cat with weird weird side ears. Kind of also, I don't know if I'm thinking of the right the right Egyptian deity. I think Anubis was a cat god. Hang on. Let's see, Anubis. I'm thinking. Well, I'm actually trying to find some pictures. Yeah, Anubis. Okay, Anubis is the god of world, and he has a jackal head. So Lucario might be more of a jackal. I don't look up the Pokemon. I just kind of see what vibes come up for me when I look at the actually play Pokemon. I just like the cards. So let's see if I have any more information, because I think that's kind of interesting that I get reminders of, for this particular one, to be related to the dead and transfer. And it is canine like. Okay. So it's not a cat, it's more of a dog. Okay, cool. So when we are disconnected, if I really want to go to that level and draw those parallels to Anubis, then when we are out of touch with nature, perhaps we are sowing the seeds of our destruction. And we will get to tour that afterlife or the other side if we don't put things back into balance. That's the vibe I'm getting with Lucario. And when you do this for yourself, follow those hunches. Like if you pull up something and it reminds you of pizza, explore pizza. Explore those hunches and feelings that you get, because to me, working with visual aids, we I just like Pokemon because they're fun, but you can traditional tarot cards, you can use random picture generators. It is to kind of bypass the gatekeeper of your consciousness and through play, have fun and kind of tap into your subconscious. So being out of balance is a problem because it's not healthy and you might end up in a place that you don't want to be. So that's why it's a problem. And who's potentially impacted by this situation? And we have Jangmo. Jangmo is a little dragon type Pokemon. It's adorable. It has like a head that looks like two hearts and a little snub nose, and it looks like a baby dragon. And for me, this is just thinking about our youth. These are impacted when things are not in balance. We're absolutely seeing that happen right now in our world with children that are being impacted by the genocide. So if you are following me on LinkedIn, I am trying to do an initiative to send 1,000 baby dolls to the White House in shrouds. So if you're interested, you can hit me up on that. And Jangmo expresses its feelings by smacking its tails. Metallic sounds echo through the tall mountains where it lives. So when we are out of alignment, it sends ripples out. And again, I'm just getting like vibes of our youth, our children. Um, and look at so much that this little dragon is ready to conquer the world. It has so much potential. There's blue skies around it, and plants are growing, even though there's cliffs and mountains behind it and obstacles to face. This little guy or gal or thing has so much potential out there that is being shut down when we double down on being out of alignment and extracting basically their future. So that's potentially who is impacted. And we can explore when and where does this happen. And we get Spinarak or Spinarak. This is a spider. It is on a web. It's a grass type Pokemon and it does stun poison. And it's actually really beautiful. It's got beautiful colors and how its body design kind of looks like an extra face. So when we're thinking about being out of alignment and how this impacts our youth and when and where this is happening all over the world, because Spinarak is a spider and it has a web and it weaves a sturdy thread into nets to fish Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. So this is happening all over the world. These misalignments, these extractive policies. We see it in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Sudan and Hawaii and rural America. There's so many things where all our resources are being pulled out. Even in California, the water is being extracted for Nestle. So that's what's coming to mind as far as when and where. So when you put that all together, and again with the theme, our friend matchup, what is making you not feel on top of the world? What is not working out for the higher good from a heart-centered place? And this imbalance is causing, you know, well, you don't know, but my theory is that balance is leading us to perhaps the underworld, to a place we don't want to go, and impacting the future, our children. Not necessarily if you don't have children, that's fine, but the children that would replace you. And it's worldwide. And it's a poison species that we haven't quite figured out yet. But Matchup is on top of the world. So again, you can, if you relate to this card, you can think about what would you do if you were that character. So that's one to explore, is defining the problem that you're trying to solve. If you don't have a clear problem, it sows confusion. Your team doesn't know what it's working on. They're like, what are we trying to do? And you end up going down a lot of rabbit holes and not wasting time. If you're familiar with a process, you should explore a process. But if you're not clear on what the problem is that you're trying to solve, then maybe everything starts to look like a nail and the only tool you have is a hammer. So that's one road for today. But then we'll also think about, okay, if you don't still have questions, that's fine. We'll use a different branch of questioning that I like. But again, please feel free to put your questions in the comments, and I'm happy to answer them with the help of the Pokemon. Anything at all. It's asked me almost anything just because even though I'm using intuitive tools, I am not a fortune teller. I don't know your future, but with the right questions, we can do a better job of creating your future. Okay, so my default to go is Tigro. So the topic, I've been getting this card a lot this week. This is the switch card. It is a Pokeball in a carrier, and the carriers are attached by a cord, and they're kind of going down this rainbow Tron corridor. And the ball in the front is getting ready to lift up, and they're going to switch. So the topic is changing it up. Some people, we've explored, when is it time to go? When is it time to step out and follow your dream or make a change? There's some hints about that. So with this switch Pokemon card, that might be a topic to explore. And it may not be a job. It might be, what if I wanted to become vegetarian, right? Because I've been inspired. Or what if I want to have a different relationship with the where our food comes from, or gardening, or anything like that. So that's a potential topic. Or if we're in relationships, maybe I think it's time to make a change, or something has happened and I need to make a change, right? Maybe the thrill is, or maybe somebody's stalking you. I mean, there could be so many things why you need to switch things up and make a change. So let's see what a goal could be. This is fun. This is a counter catcher. It looks kind of like a stun gun or a ray. And I get this idea. I get two things that come up from this counter catcher card. I think about like the radar guns that the cops use to clock speeders, but I also get this sense of becoming very focused because this counter catcher has a very streamlined point, or I don't know what this thing is called, but a doohickey thing. That's a very technical term that seems to me to give you a goal and a focus. So when we're thinking about, okay, what's our goal? Where do we want to change? Because you don't want to just change everything all at once. Then you won't have an idea of what was helpful when you made this change. So that's the vibe I'm getting from the counter catcher. It's being very precise and focused with your change so that you can see the impact. In my day job, we make calls to customers, and I can tweak how many calls go out. There's other variables that you can do as well. So I don't want to change a call and also maybe the call origins both at the same time, because then I can't tell which one's making the impact. Need some water. It's been a very long day, and day 23 of lives is a lot of talking. Okay, so going with this logic, what is a precise and focused change that I want to make in an area that makes sense? Perhaps it's about feeling confident, feeling on top of the world. I have been reading Liz Leba's book, I'm Not Yelling, and we're on the chapter about imposter treatment. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. You'll have to go get the book yourself. And a lot of, it's really funny. Somebody told me that, and this was very nice, but they said to me today, you really don't know how much you're valued. And I said, no, I do know how much I'm valued. And then there's other changes to potentially make. Sometimes you know what you're worth, whether it be in the workplace or in a relationship or with your family, with your friends, and the situation is not healthy for you. I mean, I don't know your situation. I'm just throwing some examples out there. So it's if you know that you're on top of the world and you're capable and you can handle things, then where do you want to go? What new focus thing do you want to change? Where do you want to see that happen in your life? Okay, that still might be, I don't know, Stace. I don't know where I want to change. And that's totally fine. So let's look at some opportunities. How ready are you to change? And here we Snubbull, which looks like a little pink, the angriest, cutest English bulldog ever with these floppy ears. I don't know why it has so many ears, but it's a psychic Pokemon card and it looks very angry. Let me see if I can get any tips from that. In contrast to its appearance, it's quite timid. When playing with other puppy Pokemon, it sometimes gets bullied. Aww. So there's our little, and that's a good reminder to not judge a book by its cover because it does look really cute and adorable with the flowers and the field just floating everywhere, but it actually gets bullied. So when we're trying to think about what's happening in your life, are you being bullied? Are people misunderstanding you? So what is a change that you can make? And is it a change that you have to make? I mean, it could be someone else's issue and they didn't take the time to get to know you. But is there anything that do maybe if you're aware of things? Like I know that I have been snarky for so long. Sometimes when I talk to my kids, it's like that Saturday Night Live sketch with the default sarcastic voice. And I have to tell them, no, 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 I'm not being sarcastic. I'm totally serious with this. And that helps them. That helps them to navigate. I mean, I can't help that I just sound like default sarcastic person, but I can give people cues about what's necessary. Or if maybe and there's of not controversy, but varying opinions for perhaps neurodivergent people in the workplace. There's a lot of hemming and hawing on to disclose or not to disclose. Some people feel that they, rightly so, that they will be discriminated against, but some people are very out in the open about it and they ask for what they want or need to be successful. And as a result, other people do the same thing. And that's a great work environment. If you follow me or the people that I found, sometimes you might have heard Sharon Hurley Hall's latest podcast with Sam Chavez from Roots of Change. And Sharon was also a guest on my podcast. And in their organization, they want people to say, I need a day to day. I'm just not at my best and I want to rest and be at 100%. I can manage this or can't manage that. And being very open about that could make a difference. It can also be scary, right? Putting on a brave face as our friend Snubbull there and seeing the impact. But this is trusting your intuition And sometimes things just don't look like what they seem, and you can't put your finger on it. So that might be an opportunity. If something just doesn't feel aligned, maybe gather your facts, see if you can find facts to support this feeling or start documenting certain things. Um, so that's just what comes to mind when I look at this little snubbull on the opportunity phase. So then, what's next? What I always get the O and the R confused. This is more what's realistic in here. What's realistic about making a change? I mean, this little guy also looks very determined about making that change. And as we learned, it's actually timid. And that might be where you are as well. Like like when your heart says yes and your head says no, and you're like, yes, I'm gonna pick myself up and go do this, and then the first little thing comes your way and it's like, yelp, 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 and you hurrying back. That could be something as well. So, I mean, just sit with that one a little bit. But when we're talking about what's realistic in your intuition, in your gut, are you going to be the timid and let life bully you around? Or are you going to, try and take it on, take the bull by the horns as it may? But this is snub bull. So this is a little pit bull with a heart and feelings. And it's scary. It's absolutely scary to make a change. And it may not be successful the first time you do it. So, but don't give up. Some opportunities that can work with your personality. Maybe you are a timid person and you're really trying to put on a brave front, but it's not easy for you. So what are some things that could help you? And we get an Alolan Persian. This is a cat. It is a dark energy Pokemon, and it looks purple alley cat, and it is singing at the top of its lungs. And there's a lens flare behind it and green grass, and it's just kind of got that honey badger don't give a crap. And the dark energy Pokemon, those are when we're talking about the systems lying beneath the surface, maybe the stories that we've told ourselves. And its round face and smooth coat, softer than the most high class velvet, have made this a very popular Pokemon. So remembering, you know, all the things you bring to the table. I am a facilitator for I Am Remarkable, and I kind of get the vibes of it's not bragging when it's based on facts. So exploring where being I love because we have a dog and a cat together, and they're kind of I can't yeah they're kind of head on, facing each other head on, but that doesn't mean that they're adversaries, right? It's kind of confronting your your higher self, because we had the earlier card about what do we want for the best version of ourselves, what would make us feel like Machop, like we're on top of the world and can handle anything and be capable. Where is one small area that we can tune our own horn, right? It's not bragging if it's based on facts. Where's one area that we can do that? And so let's think about what's a small step that will help us move forward in this determined way. Maybe either change our perception about the situation, because when I look back at Snubbull, it might not it might not only be that the Pokemon is misjudged, but maybe we're misjudging other situations. I am noticing that I absolutely jump to the worst case scenario. And thank goodness I don't say everything I think out loud, because I wouldn't have I wouldn't have any friends. No, that's not true. I have a lot of friends and they know me. But sometimes I definitely jump to the worst case scenarios. Even my kids are like, Mom, you always jump to the worst case scenario because I'm worried about things. And I don't think I'm doing it to be a Debbie Downer, but it's more about if we tackle these things, then we find solutions, then they really aren't the worst case scenario. They're just a way to avoid that happening in the first place. And so we get our friend Pinsar showing up quite a bit. It's a grass bug Pokemon. It looks like Nightmare Fuel to me. It has these very spiky antlers. It's like a very muscle bound tick, tick or ant. Its jaws are vertical. It just looks like it wants to smash somebody to pieces. Not a fun card, but I like the determination that's echoed in Snubbull. I know these are two different kinds of Pokemon, but their postures are so similar, moving across the ground. And one is in sunshine and lollipops, and one's kind of going through the dark night of the soul or something. Because Pinsar, even though it's in it's in the forest, it just looks like it's gonna tear something apart. So I'm just getting vibes of very, very determined to make a change, to embrace what makes us valuable and move forward with that. So I don't know if Pinsler is really a step, more of an attitude. So what may be a step, a literal thing that we could do? And we get the Steel Energy Pokemon card. It is a great card with a glowing steel sphere with an upside down rectangle and brackets. Something about boundaries that has come up a lot this week. A very small focus change would be setting boundaries, like letting people know, hey, this I have a hard stop for this. Even at my work, they talked about the magic of no, that it's okay to say no in a complete sentence. And that is one small focused way that you can reclaim some of your time. If you don't feel up to it, you don't have to do it. I mean, I had another friend cancel on me because they're not feeling well, which is totally fine. I I don't want to I don't want to get sick, so that's fine, right? If you're not at 100%, I've been thinking about this a lot actually since I finished that podcast. In Are we making these, and this is from even an earlier one that Joe Cardillo was on, but I don't remember which show he was on. Oh, it was with Kay Stroll. Are we creating these pressure cooker situations? Are we creating these situations where it's this false urgency? Like when we're talking about no rush business models, and I've seen this with, oh my gosh, they were a big company too, and they had a, I can't remember the name of it, but they had this kind of no rush culture. You can communicate honestly so people could be on time. And when I think about why is everyone rushing? Why is there urgent care or like first responders or things like that? I think I talked about this yesterday. It is the extractive nature of the cultures that we have built. It's not a society where we have patience like when you used to do crop rotation or try different, yeah, different at different times, or even the idea of a garden. Like I love this quote Asmar sent me from one of the doctors of like it being like a little dictator of the land. I I put so much energy into quote taming the land when if you let it run, the things grow that want to grow. Granted, there may not be the things that you want to grow, but those are the things that work better in the land. My mom is a former hairdresser, and she said the color of your hair is generally the best color to go with your skin tone and complexion. But so many times we dye our hair, we try and cover the grays, or my sparkles, as I call them, but mine are super cool anyway. But we try and cover those things and change up those parts of ourselves, anti aging. These are all parts of our life. When we're young, we're so tired of being carded, right? Oh, I wish I looked older so I could go do the cool things. And then when you get older, you wish you were young again because we live in, well, I live, I don't know, maybe it's different in other countries, but it's a culture of telling people that they're not good enough, they're not enough. So we can sell you things to make you feel enough. We can sell you the latest face cream, or we can sell you this gym membership so you can be buff and be back to your 20-year-old self. I don't know, like that's what comes for me when I'm thinking about that. I need some water. Okay, so again, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'm happy to stab at them with our friends. Maybe tomorrow I'll surprise you and do a different deck other than that Pokemon. I have more than just Pokemon, but they're fun. I think they people like them because they don't necessarily have a gender. They're kind of animals, so you don't get that charge. So for the last 15 minutes, when we're talking about getting more in touch with ourselves and back in touch with our confidence, what would what would help us with that? And we get our buddy Drowsy. Drowsy looks like a kind of like a hippo, and it doesn't have the hippo snout out though. It has the small ears like a hippo and a smoother, more o- oval or oblong. Oblong is a square. It looks kind of like a tapir. That's the animal. It looks like a tapir walking along the beach. And it's a beautiful day out on the beach. The sand is clear, the water is clear, the sky is clear. And Drowsy eats dreams. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a psychic type Pokemon, but that's its nature. So what is eating your dreams? I'm going to take a look at what the little quote on the bottom of the card is. It finds really fun dreams tasty. When it makes friends with people, it may show them the most delicious dreams it's ever eaten. So this could be dreaming those tasty dreams. It could mean something is trying to snatch your dream, right? There's so many different things that could come to mind for you. For me, it just take a walk because I have not had a chance to just be out in nature in the sunshine or go to the beach. That's a dream of mine. Every time I dream about what my future life could look like, it's always by the beach, and I'm always eating a lot of fruit for some reason. And I would probably never live by the beach, especially in Florida, just because of the hurricane insurance premium. Even get me started on insurance and that racket. But anyway, so we have Drowsy walking on the beach. And again, it could mean dreaming bigger dreams, sharing your dreams with others. Again, what could potentially be thwarting your dreams. So that's what I'm fine with this one. And so then what's the challenge with that? And we get another psychic energy Pokemon card. So this kind of powers up the dream. And so perhaps your dream needs a little charge. Maybe it's not clear. You haven't fully fleshed out what this looks like. And that's a great exercise to imagine your dream life and adding as many details as possible, all your senses. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Again, I'm eating a lot of fruit in my dream life. And what does it feel like? What's your body doing? What are you doing in this dream life or dream vision that you have? What does your intuition tell you about it? Or what is the dream that you didn't dare to have? What is a dream that maybe you should resuscitate? These are all the things that come to mind for me. But you might have a different opinion. And another dark energy Pokemon card. So, what are the systems and structures underneath? And it could be potential opportunities that you had not considered for finding your dream. Like one of my friends is like, why don't you become a in art residence and go get your Master of Fine Arts? You know, that was a thing. I don't want to move and uproot my family, but I do like art. And I didn't know that that was a program that you could be a residence artist, get a stipend, and create art. I mean, that sounds like a dream for me, but I don't want to move right now. So, yeah. But anyway, that's just saying that there's the systems and underlying situations that maybe you're not aware of, that you might not have known. There's a whole network for people that want to do your dream or want to help others do your dream. And again, with the dark energy, especially when we have that next to the psychology, is what is the story that you're telling yourself? What are those subroutines in the programming that you potentially have to overcome? What have you thought about your dream? Did you fail once and decide, well, I can't dream because I failed once, so I shouldn't do it again? Cooking. Like the first time I cooked something, I thought it was nasty. And my family was like, "Oh, this is so good." And it wasn't until years later they told me, "No, it was nasty, but we wanted to encourage you." And actually, kids, they've definitely had some doozies. We've had cookies with too much salt in it. We've had some other challenges, but now they make a meal, and when they make it with love, I'm so sad when it's done. And if they'd given up on it, or you're just a bad cook versus you're learning, it's a, having that growth mindset, then I wouldn't be getting to enjoy all these yummy things that they make. So don't sell yourself short. And I get a very strong feeling that what I'm telling you is also what I hear. So I'm not going to sell myself short either. We're embracing our inner Machop on top of the world and confident. And so, what could help us move forward with that dream, that tasty dream? And we have Rowlet. Rowlet is a little owl. It's the OG night. It's a grass Pokemon type. It's a little brown owl with a green leaf bow tie in the woods, looking very calm. And for me, this is tapping into your inner wisdom. It is doing things sense energetically for you. Rowlet is a night owl. If you're a night owl, try and do the things when you are going to thrive. Rowlet is also kind of weary, and it uses photosynthesis to store up energy during the day while becoming active at night. Where are you going to place your energy, your precious energy that you have? Do you want to put it towards something that drains you, like maybe a 9 to 5 or a relationship that's not working out anymore? Or are you going to gather the energy you need to do something different, to make a change. And I think Rowlet is a great card because we already have an intuition card, and historically we're associating owls with wisdom. Owls are also silent and they're very deadly, because they're near silent at night, and their talons are really sharp. There was a show, Criminal, and one of the episodes, one of the earlier ones, was potentially, possibly, a lady was accidentally murdered by an owl, not on purpose, but that's kind of how they roll. I don't know how I went into darkness with this cute little adorable Rowlet, so let's not go to the murderous owl theme. And instead, your happy place, someplace where you can be calm and energized, and again, tap into your inner to make a change. It's also a grass energy Pokemon card, so where are you aligned with your dreams? What makes sense? What is sustainable? Like dreaming a sustainable dream. I used to want to be a princess, and then I recognized such an exploited, you're just exploiting people, even if you're a princess of the people, because the idea of the monarchy is anathema to me. But anyway, it was a nice dream while it lasted, but I just can't dream things that are not sustainable and don't make sense. So again, with Rowlet, where is the best place to put your energy going forward? And finally, we'll go with the fighting Pokemon card. So this one has, it's a orange card with a orange glowing sphere, comet, and a fist. And so I've been associating this with resistance. And so thinking about what, why are you resisting your dream? So maybe something that could help you with that is journaling or facing your fears, right? We have our Matchup, facing things head on. We have the Pinsir, the Snubbull. All of these little creatures are determined to face their fears head on. And we'll close this out with Cosmoem. I've seen this card before. It's a little orb in a kind of protective six, it's not claws, but six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Sorry, an 8 claw kind of container. And this is a protective, it's protecting the youth, the dreamer, the person sleeping in their dream, star protection. So maybe it is holding that dream close to you for a bit and really develop it at nighttime or where you're at your most powerful. You don't have to always tell everybody what you want to do with your dreams. So take a moment right now. If you have a pen and paper, if you're watching this on Team Replay, just pause and take a moment to write out what you think your dream is. Just write it down. Again, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like, taste like, sound like? Any sensations? How do you feel? Who's around you? Where are you? Really try and dream the biggest dream you can dream. And then think about what's stopping you, what's holding you back. What role do you play in your dream? And feel free to write your dreams in the comment. That's a happier note than yesterday where we had all these assertive aggressive ones yesterday. So thank you all for joining. We're going to wrap it up by taking a deep breath in and exhale, and deep breath in and exhale, and deep breath in And exhale. All right, tomorrow's live will, I think it's 7:30 in the morning. So I'll see you all, any of my morning birds, my morning owls that have had tonight to recharge and photosynthesize. I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. Just triple checking. Yep, 7:30. So see you tomorrow. Thank you all for your time and have a great evening.